So did you do the fasting?
I did it for one day. I did well all day, and then at 6 o'clock, I couldn't take it anymore. But I think if I had something else that I could have, like I was thinking like sugar-free Jello or a better drink. Like I really didn't have anything special, to drink. I think I could do it. I did well all day. It really didn't bother me. Oh, the
Um,
lab results. The lab results are that the white blood cell count went down quite a bit, and I still have the low immunoglobulin, but they're checking me every month now to see if I need treatment for that. But the white blood cell count did go down a lot.
okay, that's
So,
good.
yeah, it must have been, I was sick for a long time.
Hmm. So we can't really tell if it was the fasting or just you getting out of the sickness.
Yeah, I just, the fasting could have helped because it was really unusual for it to go down like that,
Hmm.
being on treatment with prednisone. So I'm definitely going to try it again. I'm going to try to prepare with having something available
Hmm.
to get me through that last, and I understand that once you get through a day, it gets easier.
Evening might be a problem because we used to eat in the evening and we
Yeah.
start to relax. So try next time around 6 o'clock, go for a long walk. If you're going for a walk, first you have nothing to eat. And second, if the body starts working, it usually
Yeah.
doesn't get hungry. If you know there is a time when you get really weak, go for a 1 hour walk or something on the beach.
Yeah, that's definitely the time when it would happen.
I think that's good news.
Yeah, it is. And I'm going later today to a woman that teaches meditation.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
that'll be good.
Ask her if she knows recapitulation meditation. Because what usually happens is when you meditate, when you close your eyes and you watch your mind will get really busy bringing up memories. And maybe she has a meditation that helps you to learn how to let the bad memories go. That's the biggest thing about meditation. You just watch your mind and let everything come and go. Let it come and go. Let it come and go.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the bad memories and the traumas. Let it come, let it go. Maybe she has a special meditation.
Maybe she does past life regression, so she might.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, she
That's
talked.
interesting.
Yeah,
What do
okay.
you think of that?
Well, if it works, things like that, yet that you can argue, is it real or is it not real? That's a stupid argument. Try it out and see if it works. If it
What do
works,
you think of it?
if it doesn't work, try something else.
Yeah. Well, today we're doing the meditation
Hmm.
work today because
Okay.
I need help being able to do that.
Hmm. Okay. Shall we look at the pairings?
Yes.
So it's the same spread, but I paired the cards. And we will go through these pairs one by one. These pairs can signify conflicts. They can signify complements, things that complement each other, and they signify balance. So the first pair is the Knight of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. And they are both inauspicious. And we identified the Knight of Cups as your sun. The title of the Two of Pentacles is Strategy.
Okay.
What I believe this pair stands for is that you haven't led a strategic lifestyle. So usually people have goals and then they develop strategies to achieve those goals. And in order to do this, you also have to have an intentional attitude. So you have been more reactive to the things that happen to you in life. And in particular, you have been reactive to your son and his tantrums. Okay, instead, you should have developed a strategy how to deal with your son and his attacks and his aggression, which you did.
Yes,
So it became worse and worse and worse until you had to cut off. Does that make sense?
that makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Okay. So now, of course, you have to, start developing a strategy. So when the time comes and you let your son back into your life, you have a strategy in place on how to deal with his issues.
Yeah, I'm not at the point yet where I'm ready for that for him.
Yeah, you take your time.
I'm not.
Yeah, you should heal first. You guys should get healthy first, and because for that you will need a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So the next pair is the Queen of Swords and the Three of Swords. The title is Understanding. And these two cards have a lot in common. In fact, they actually stand for the same Sephira. The only difference between the two is that they have slightly different astrological correspondences. But we don't need to, I don't think we need to go into this right now. But you still wanted to identify who is that person who could be represented by the Queen of Swords. And there was the doctor, and there was one of your friends in the Facebook group, like one of the therapists, I believe.
Yeah.
So this is the key person that will help you with all the conflicts and investigation into the causes of the CLL, will help you to make a plan and to understand the CLL properly. So you really need to work with that person.
Is there any possibility that it could be me becoming the Queen of Swords? No.
No. You are the significator, you are on top. The Queen
I'm
of
the Queen of Cups.
on top, yeah. From my perspective, I would say it's the doctor. Questions?
No.
Okay. The next pair
Makes
is
sense.
the Four of Wands and the Four of Cups. The Four of Wands is auspicious. The Four of Cups is inauspicious. So if a card is inauspicious, it means it has helped bring about your challenge. Okay, and the one that is auspicious is a key ability that helps you to overcome your challenge. Now, these two cards are basically the same power, the power of grace, but working on different levels. The Four of Wands is on the spiritual level, and the Four of Cups on the creative feeling level. And we already discussed it a lot of times. You need to invite spiritual grace into your life. And the Four of Cups, we have identified it with leniency and indulgence, in particular towards your son.
Yeah.
So what this pairing says is that you not only need to develop receptivity to spiritual grace, but you also need to turn around your grace on the feely level, to use it more balanced. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does.
Then we have the pair of the Six of Wands, that's a decision and it's auspicious, and the Ace of Swords, which the title is Venture and it's also auspicious. Now, the power of decision is very important in your case because you have to make certain decisions on how to deal with your challenge. And the most important decision you made a couple of weeks ago was to cut off your son so that you protect yourself from all his toxicity and focus on healing. And the Ace of Swords, Venture, we identified it as a sign that you should take this challenge not as an ordeal necessarily, but see it as a venture. Yeah, you're going on a venture and you are opening up to the spiritual plane. You will now start working on your spiritual career. You will learn spiritual things and you will start meditation, that you will take this whole challenge with a good spirit. And that's something you have to decide. So, okay, I decide now, I will not take it as an ordeal or as an evil thing that comes into my life. I will take it as an opportunity and I will go on an venture and I will come out victorious.
More positive thinking.
Yeah. The next pair is the Page of Wands and the Attention card. Both are auspicious, so they will both help you to overcome your challenge. And the Page of Wands we identified as your daughter, because she has these Virgo vibes, and Virgo, the Hermit card, is emphasized. It's one of the 4 emphasized cards in your spread. So the Virgo vibes right now, they're very important. They are related to health and to fasting, and your daughter is Virgo. And the Attention card means focus and attention. So you should pay attention to your daughter.
Okay.
Yeah. And the Magician, don't forget, it's astrologically, it's Mercury, and Mercur is the god of health. Also, Mercury both rules Virgo and is also exalted in Virgo. So this is a very important pairing related to the CLL directly in the health perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, then we have the pairing of the Reason and the Suggestion card, and they are both auspicious. And the Reason card was highlighted in the spread, which means it's one of the 4 or 5 most important cards in the spread. So the Suggestion card calls for positive suggestions that you give yourself and your body. Since it is paired with the Reason card, you should reason the best suggestions that you should give yourself and the body. For example, positive thinking, but also positive imaginings and positive feelings and positive emotion. Good, so that's Reason and Suggestion. I think that's a very important pairing too. So you really need to think, what are the most positive suggestions I can give my body and my mind, and plan it and execute it. So the next pair is between Truth and the Page of Wands. And the Truth is inauspicious and the Page of Wands is also inauspicious. So this pair has brought about your challenge. So your spiritual body has been malnourished because you have not fed your spiritual body with spiritual wisdom, and you have not been meditating. And that's why you felt that your whole challenge is related to the spiritual plane. And then we have the Truth card, which stands for the truth of the situation. If we neglect the spiritual plane, it's very hard for us to really understand the truth of a situation. For example, you may have thought that you always have bad luck in your family life. Your first husband and then your son and also your daughter a little bit. All these things are happening to me, bad luck, and I'm a poor person, something like that. But you could...
Yeah, my ex-husband, yes.
Yes. But the truth of such matters is these are ordeals that you agreed upon before you entered this life. So these are ordeals that play an important role in your spiritual development. So they are actually not they are bothersome, but they are actually also a blessing in disguise. And that's maybe
your worst. I always like the saying, your worst enemies are your best teachers.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it means. And that may have not been obvious to you in your youth or in your early adulthood. And that led you to deal with these things more in a reactive way and in a hostile way, rather than, embracing the ordeal and going through it and being done with it and putting this karma to rest. This duality, I think you already reversed it, and you're actively working on it.
Yeah, I am trying.
Yeah, of course, all we can do is try to do our best.